It is time to stalk the streets of Gotham again. Good morning, good evening, or whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and I am going to be completing the side mission, The Perfect Crime. It has been a while since this side mission was referenced in the main game, but if you'll recall, in the main playthrough, Aaron Cash and Jim Gordon both referenced this, and specifically they referenced that there was a dead body found on display on a bridge exiting Gotham. They wanted us to go forensically investigate the body and the strange way that it was staged. We did not end up doing that while playing through the main story, but the main story is over, so now it is time to circle back and get that case closed. This side mission is unique in that the murderer who is doing all of this is not revealed until almost the very end of this side mission. What makes that different is that in every other side mission that we do, it tends to announce who the main villain is that we're going against really early on. This one is dedicating itself to the mystery. It wants us to try and piece everything together and figure out who the killer is strictly through investigation. Now, Batman Arkham Knight is roughly a decade old at this point, and the villain is probably either known to you because you have played through the game already, or it was spoiled for you probably a really long time ago. Still, I kind of want to maintain the spirit of this side mission. I want to not give away the killer, whoever it is, until they are eventually revealed just by playing through the side mission. Until then, it is time to pilot DC's greatest detective and investigate the murder scenes in The Perfect Crime.
Someone killed, mutilated, and posed a body on Merchant Bridge. If I'm going to stop them, then I need to investigate the crime scene for clues. Alfred, I found the mutilated body Cash was talking about. I'm going to try and establish a cause of death. Blood tests reveal the cause of death was an overdose of painkillers leading to cardiac arrest. Also, the victim's fingerprints have been burned off with acid.
A rather unsavory demise.
That's not all. It's as though the subject's DNA has been corrupted somehow. There's insufficient information for me to cross-reference the database. I'll have to use the deep tissue scanner to analyze the body for distinguishing features and determine the victim's identity.
Right you are, sir.
Deformity on the left ear. Looks like a result of minor ear agenesis, a birth defect. A wedding ring in the lower intestine. The inscription reads, Ophelia. The victim had a hip replacement. Scar tissue hasn't fully healed, so it must have been recent. Alfred, the victim's name is Anthony Lund. Hospital records show he suffered with alcoholism, most probably brought on by the breakdown of his marriage. The name on the ring, Ophelia, his ex-wife. He was last seen in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's unusual is that they didn't go missing in Gotham. They were brought here and killed. Why? We need to track down whoever did this.
Might I suggest keeping an ear out for any more of that ghastly opera music? It sounds ominously like a calling card.
We saw the word flawed painted at the scene, and the body was somehow genetically altered. We need to look for patterns between the victims. So let's go ahead and look for the next body. And here it is. And next to the body we see the word failure. And on this rooftop we see that the body has been displayed in a very similar fashion to the first. Let's go ahead and see what we can find.
If I'm going to stop this killer, I should analyze the body I found on the rooftop of the Gotham Herald. Alfred, I found another body. The mutilation pattern looks to be identical to the previous murder victim.
Then it appears Gotham does indeed have a serial killer in its midst. And here I was thinking this evening couldn't get any worse.
I'm going to scan the body for unique identifiers. Scar tissue on the upper arm. I recognize the pattern. 20 years ago, this was a badge of honor among inmates at Blackgate Penitentiary. A small group of racketeers known as the Bloodhaven Six. Remnants of a pacemaker fitted through the right ventricle. If I cross-reference the manufacturer with the pacing method, it will help to narrow the search. Clear signs of bone deformation on the victim's knee. Joint line sclerosis points to juvenile arthritis, a rare and debilitating condition. Alfred, I've ID'd the victim as Franklin Accardo.
His records are a litany of drug-related offenses, sir. In and out of prison from an early age. He was serving a 20-year sentence at Blackgate before being released early on grounds of ill health due to a heart condition. He moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, which is where he was reported missing.
Another person taken from outside the Gotham area.
A significant detail, sir.
So are these words written beside the bodies. Try and find a connection between the two victims I've found, Alfred. There has to be something linking them together.
I'll try my best, sir.
After seeing the second body, we now know that besides being altered in some way, and also being demeaned by the words beside the body stating that they're not good enough, these people were out-of-towners, and they were ultimately brought to Gotham. Alright, things are stacking up and getting interesting. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
The posed body I found on display. Alfred, we can add a third victim to the list.
This is becoming rather ghastly, sir. It brings to mind a spate of murders at the beginning of your career. It was Halloween then, if I'm not mistaken. Turned out to be rather a long one, if I recall.
I'm going to try and identify the body. That particular type of bleaching to the pigmentation of the skin denotes a chemical burn, most likely a chlorine-based substance. Tracheal surgery to remove a cancerous growth has resulted in the victim being fitted with a voice box. The victim suffered a rare genetic disorder causing them to have 6 fingers on one hand. Alfred, the victim's name is Allison Weirs.
She was an engineer employed at Ace Chemicals. That would certainly explain some of her ailments. She moved into a retirement home in Bloodhaven several years ago. Their grounds are adjacent to a large park.
That's 3 victims, all of them abducted in various places around the country. Keep looking for a connection, Alfred.
Right you are, sir.
The writing by the bodies suggests the killer has a higher purpose. It's as if these weren't good enough for what he has in mind.
Do you think there are other victims?
Yes, and I don't know what he has planned for them.
I like that the Long Halloween was referenced when we found this third body. Halloween is a really good read and watch. I've liked the comic, and I like the movie version as well. I would recommend either. Since this series likes to do callbacks to old comic-related events, it would have been really cool to see the Arkham video game tackle the Long Halloween as well in some way. I mean, look at how they handled the Joker falling into the chemicals, or how they handled Barbara getting shot in the Killing Joke flashback.
Investigating the body I discovered on the rooftop of Ted's Electronics will help track the killer. He's still out there, and needs to be stopped.
Or even how this game just kind of reimagined Under the Red Hood. It would have been cool to see them do something along those lines with the Long Halloween too.
Alfred, I found a 4th victim.
Highly regrettable, Master Bruce. All we can do is hope this body yields some clues as to the killer's identity.
I've seen that pattern of scar tissue before. It's a bite mark. Analyzing its radius points to a species of Selachomorpha. This particular variety of shark is only found in the waters off the coast of North Gotham. The victim is fitted with an ocular prosthesis. This specific type of medical-grade acrylic was used only once during a trial 5 years ago. Signs of trauma to the upper arm. At some point, titanium screws have been implanted to repair a fractured humerus. Alfred, the victim's name is Lisa Mendez.
She had quite a troubled upbringing, sir. Orphaned aged 9, foster homes, drug abuse. She developed a talent for surfing, hence the shark attack. Tragically, it's also how she lost her boyfriend. She was working for a Christian charity in Tucson, Arizona, when she went missing.
Have you found anything linking the victims?
I can find no personal or professional links between the victims, but they each went missing near state parks or playing fields.
Try and find anything connecting those places.
Of course, sir. I'll look into it.
This victim was bitten by a shark while swimming around Gotham. In Arkham City, Penguin was using a shark for protection, so I'm wondering if it was the same kind of shark that bit this person. For story building, I would want the shark that bit this victim to somehow be the same shark that Penguin was using many years later. Linking it like that, it makes it sound like this shark's whole life was going on a trajectory of becoming a supervillain shark. And then next time we'll see it team up with King Shark.
I'm going to stop this killer. Investigating the body I found on the rooftop of the Heavenly nightclub will help me track him down. Alfred, I found a 5th victim.
I feared you would, sir.
An irregularity on the victim's chest. It appears to be a birthmark, quite distinctive. There's a bullet lodged deep in the upper bicep. This type of ammunition is predominantly used with a hunting rifle that hasn't been manufactured in over a decade. The left foot is missing several toes. The site of amputation suggests the removal of non-viable tissue in the treatment of frostbite. Alfred, I've ID'd the victim as Robert Kincaid.
He was a microbiologist who worked for Stag Enterprises. Many believe the shooting was connected to Kincaid's knowledge of controversial research, although that remains unverified. He took a teaching post in Atlanta, which is where he was reported missing.
Do the details of the disappearance match with the others?
They do indeed, sir. Also, your request to cross-reference the parks and playing fields has proved fruitful. I've come across some leasing documentation that appears to have been falsified. Someone is attempting to cover their tracks.
Find out anything you can, Alfred. We couldn't have done anything to prevent these deaths, but we can still save others.
If you have not started to wonder yet, you might start to wonder if all we are going to be doing is just scanning the bodies this entire video. Fortunately, the answer is no. There is more to this mission than that. But scanning the bodies is going to be a big part of this mission.
Alfred, I've discovered another body.
6 victims, Master Bruce. When will this nightmare end?
I think there are 6 bodies total, and then the way we approach this mission completely changes.
This wound is relatively fresh, inflicted while the victim was still alive. Abrasion to the epidermal layers confirms the somewhat crude removal of a tattoo. The position of this scar indicates the victim underwent surgery to remove one of their kidneys. A plate made of tantalum, used here for a cranial fracture, most probably the result of a boxing accident. The victim's callous knuckles would only be acquired by a professional fighter. Alfred, the victim's name is Ella Montgomery.
It appears the kidney was donated to a twin sister who unfortunately died. This seems to have been the catalyst for her boxing pursuits, and hence the cranial injury. She went missing in Huntsville, Alabama.
Cross-reference this with the others. See if it fits.
It does indeed, sir. Sending you the information now.
The Circus of Strange. Its route recently took it through all the locations where the victims went missing. Get me a list of associated names.
The circus is run by a rather suspicious fellow named Laszlo Valentin.
Search for any properties owned or leased by the suspect.
Records show Mr. Valentin used to lease a beauty salon here in Gotham, but the lease expired shortly before construction began on Wayne International Plaza.
Send through the location. It's time to end this.
Leave the rioters alone. They won't mess with us.
Laszlo Valentin. He's killed 6 people, Alfred, but no more. It's time to pay a visit to his beauty parlor.
Be careful, sir. The man is unhinged, even by Gotham's standards.
And after that last victim, we know the killer. If their name does not ring a bell, don't worry, it will all be clear soon enough.
Make it stop!
You're done here, Valentine. Let them go.
Oh, no. Pig not ready yet. She's all unique and wrong. All messed up, inside out. Pig, make her better. Pig make all of us better.
It's over.
But Pig can fix you too. Make you perfect, like the others.
You're insane.
And what are you?
I'm here to stop you.
Bad. Pig is like clay. Pig is like a god. Pig is here to fix us all. That's it, my darling. Show him how perfect you are. Rise up, my precious. He cannot keep you down.
It's like they're immune to pain. I need to make sure they stay down.
The mask he is wearing and the caption stating his name should have given it away. Laszlo is Professor Pig.
Destroy him, my darlings, and remember, Daddy loves you.
I was so happy when I played this game for the first time and saw that Professor Pig was the main villain for the side mission. When I first played, finding the bodies just reminded me of the Hush mission back in Arkham City, so I thought it was going to be Hush again in this game. I completely missed the clues and I was very happy and surprised to find out that it was Professor Pig. So, Professor Pig is pretty awesome when it comes to villains, but he very rarely ever gets a headlining role as like a main villain in a story. His gimmick is that he's a very good surgeon, and he turns people into these things that we are fighting right now. And they are called the Dollatrons. Now, Dollatrons are people that he surgically alters. He messes with their brains, or in this game's case, it says he messes with their genetics, but he messes with their brains to make them obedient. And then he connects doll masks or animal heads to the victims so they are unrecognizable.
Be coming for you, Batman. Coming to make you perfect.
He is pretty gruesome with what he does to people. He completely transforms them into obedient monsters who have no concept of who they once were. So yeah, Professor Pig and the Dollatrons are awesome, and I was so glad that they were a last-minute addition and managed to make an appearance in the Arkham games. I can't stress enough, I was super thrilled for this side mission to go in this direction.
Got your back again. Lovely. Where are you taking me? Take go back to his circus.
I'm taking you where you won't be able to hurt anyone else. I'll make sure of it.
Doesn't hurt. Pig heals. Pig fixes. My Dollatrons are works of art.
Those people are living a fate worse than death.
Not death. Pig makes life worth living.
And the ones you murdered?
Too broken for Pig to make better. Too imperfect. They make Mother angry. Make Pig feel sick.
Those things you couldn't change. It's how I identified the bodies. It's how I caught you. It's why you failed.
No, not fail. Oh. Pig show you sick. Like to see?
You've got problems, Valentine. Out you go, Valentine.
Don't lock Pig away. Mother won't be pleased. Pig, not good enough. Oh, never good enough. So close until you stop me. I can do better. being so perfect.
Now, old Pigface here. Total lunatic. Far too good for this place. Don't worry, you'll be the first one I let out.
Well, that wraps up the Perfect Crime side mission. This is one of my favorite side missions in this game. With just 6 victims, its gimmick does not last long enough to get old, at least not to me. And it is also not short enough that it feels like it wasn't fleshed out. You get to actually spend time as the detective version of Batman instead of it just being the version of Batman that beats the shit out of criminals. Then, once the detective work possibly starts to get old, the side mission completely shifts gears, and you go into the confrontation at the beauty parlor. It is an excellent scene, and it adds specific requirements to beat the Dollatrons permanently, or they just get back up. And you don't really see those requirements with any other enemies at any other part of the game. And then after you manage to take out all the Dollatrons, you get to cap off the fight with a very nice environmental takedown on Professor Pig. I don't have any complaints when it comes to this one. I enjoy playing it each time that I've had to play through the game, and I am glad that such a good villain got a good mission. So yeah, that is it for the Perfect Crime, and that is it for me. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the next video. Take care, and I'll see you then.